Chapter 113. The Foreign Battleground begins. Sidhu Nan told him that during the soul transformation stage, the nascent soul transforms and becomes larger. However, the body doesn't grow at all, and the nascent soul was only this large when it's outside of the body. Wang Lin sat cross-legged on the ground, took out the gourd, took a big gulp, and began charging toward the mid-stage of foundation establishment. The reason he was doing this here was because Sidhu Nan once told Wang Lin that doing this would help him recover. Time slowly passed, and in the blink of an eye, the deadline for the trial to enter the foreign battleground was almost here. A lot of cultivators had arrived outside the Jiuming Valley months ago. They all found the best locations to watch the Jiuming Valley's only exit. As more and more cultivators arrived, the area outside the Jiuming Valley became more and more lively. Of course, if anyone with grudges met, they would start a big fight. Due to the foreign battleground opening up every 100 years, the area within 1,000 kilometers of the Jiuming Valley had been prepared with buildings. It has to be said that the opening of the foreign battleground gathers all of the top cultivators in Zhao. When the time for the foreign battleground to open is near, these buildings become the biggest marketplace in Zhao. All of the cultivators in Zhao meet in these buildings, making them very lively. Many materials and rare magic treasures appear here. On this day, countless cultivators gathered outside of the Jiuming Valley. There were cultivators from all of the numerous sects in Zhao. Aside from the very large sects who had their own area, everyone else was clumped in groups. The remaining people were from very small families, small sects, or were independent cultivators. These small families, small sects, and independent cultivators didn't have the right to enter the foreign battleground. They showed up hoping to get something. Every time the foreign battleground opens, a large amount of spiritual energy leaks out. Absorbing just a bit of that spiritual energy would equal to weeks of cultivation. Seeing that the Jiuming Valley was about to open, everyone found somewhere to wait for the opening. At noon on this day, the sky was blue and the sun was high in the sky. The temperature was slowly rising. It was extremely hot, but none of the cultivators outside minded, as their attention was focused on the exit of the Jiuming Valley. Cultivators with experience all knew that the Jiuming Valley would open exactly at noon. If one were to look from the sky at the Jiuming Valley, they would find that it was shaped like a gourd. The mouth of the gourd was the only entrance. On each side of the entrance were two very tall mountains, and at the entrance was an octagon formation. The formation suddenly began to shine. Not far from the entrance, the nascent soul cultivators of the demonic sects gathered. Among them was Tang Huayuan's thin figure. His eyes were filled with excitement and killing intent as he stared at the formation at the entrance. The formation became brighter and brighter, then 8 people slowly walked out. Tang Huayuan's eyes were filled with disappointment as his right hand took out a flag. He squeezed the flag, and one of the souls on it disappeared. Seeing the 8 people walking out, the cultivators of the Jiuming sect started to point and talk. They came out, look, they came out. Normally, the first ones to come out are the ones that have lost their token. I wonder which sect that is. What is this? Why are there so many people? Normally, the first sect to come out has the least amount of people. They came out, I see Zhou. They are disciples of the Pyro Miao sect. The Pyro Miao lost their token last time, and now they lost it again. It seems one of the largest of the orthodox sects is that great. If my Fu Tian sect went, we would probably be stronger. Brother Zhang, the strongest person in your sect is only at the early stage of core formation. The Pyro Miao sect can send any ancestor, and they will wipe out your sect. If you ask me, the Pyro Miao sect failed because the disciples of the demonic sects are too strong. Among the top 8 sects, aside from the Jai Mai sect, whose nascent soul cultivator had died, which made them lose the right to participate, all of the nascent soul ancestors of the remaining 7 sects were present. Currently, the Pyro Miao sect's sect head, Xin Hai's face was dark as he silently stared at the entrance. The 8 members of the Pyro Miao sect walked out with strange expressions on their faces. Seeing all of the people outside the valley and hearing their chatter, their faces turned red as they walked with their heads down toward Xin Hai. Xin Hai tried his best to contain his anger. He had spent a lot of resources for the right to enter the foreign battleground. He sent a total of 25 disciples. 3 were at the late stage and 8 at the mid-stage of foundation establishment. Although the remaining disciples were all at the early stage, he handed out a lot of magic treasures. He was dead set on qualifying this time, no matter what, but looking at it now, only 8 out of 25 people survived. While Xin Hai was looking at the 8 disciples, the ancestor of the Yuan Tian sect named Shangyuan Yun was nearby and laughed at him. He said, "Brother Xin, it's not that big of a deal to lose the battle to enter the foreign battleground. The cleanup of the foreign battleground is quite dangerous. Normally, only 1 out of 10 disciples come out alive. Now you don't have to worry about your disciples anymore. It's only 100 years until the next one." Xin Hai sneered, "Brother Shangyuan, there is no need to be sarcastic here. Since I lost the bet, I won't back out on our agreement." With that, he looked at the 8 disciples and gloomily asked, "Your eldest apprentice brother died." One of them knelt on the ground and whispered, "They all died, all of the other disciples are dead." The remaining 7 all knelt on the ground. Their faces were filled with fear. Shangyuan Yun sneered in his heart, but on his face he showed mercy as he silently shook his head. Xin Hai's face sunk as he said, "So many people died. Good, which sect killed them?" The first disciple that knelt on the ground hesitated. Xin Hai waved his hand, and a barrier surrounded the Paiao Miao sect disciples. Shangyuan Yun raised his head and sneered in his heart. After blocking out other people's divine senses, Xin Hai motioned for the disciple to talk, and the disciple quickly spilled everything. After Xin Hai finished listening, he was startled and his eyes turned cold. After a while, he coldly snorted and said, "You guys stay behind me. I have to see who he really is." With that, he waved his hand and the barrier disappeared. Shangyuan Yun, who was on the side, said, "Why isn't fellow cultivator Sume here?